So in this video I will show you how you change some text. In this case we have level 1, and when we as a character here hit the object, so in this case it will be this pole, it will change to level 2. So you could say it was like when we walked into this, it will go and change to level 2 and you will level up. So the first thing we have to do now is to go to our character and make sure that he have a collider box. So you do want to go and scroll down and add a component to your character, and you want to add this box collider. You can also go with other colliders, but I will just go with the box collider to keep it simple here. So right now I just changed the view to the scene, and now I can see my box collider. It is the box down here. And I do want to go and scale it up. So some good settings for this character could be like 0.5, 2 and then 0.5, and I also adjusted it to center 1 meter up along the y-axis. So now you can see I do have the character here inside the box. So the next thing we want to look at is actually the pole up here. I'll just go and click it. In my case I already have a collider on this capsule collider, but just as you saw before, it's just important to go and add a component, add a new collider, and then we do want to go and say is trigger on this one. So the next thing we have to do is to go to this tag, and you can go and add a new tag. In my case I added a target object. So when you go and add a new tag like this, you need to make sure when you add it that you go back into your object again and go and choose it here in the list. So this is the target object, and this tag is what is going to be defined in the code also, so that we can actually go and fetch this unique object. So the next thing we have to do is to go and make the actual script. So let's go and right click, say create, and make a mono behavior script, and we could call it like trigger script. We do then want to go and open it in Visual Studio. So first of all we can go and get rid of the start and update here. And a smaller detail I forgot to mention is that inside my playground here I have this text. So it is a TextMeshPro that we use to actually display the text inside a canvas. I do have another video on how to set this up. So back in the code, the first thing we want to use is by saying using and then TMPro. And this is just so we can go and fetch the actual text. We can then go and create a new property here so that we can go inside the inspector in Unity and go and drop the text that we want to change into this variable. So we do need to use this TextMeshPro U GUI, and it comes from this package that we just included here. So the next thing you can include here is the onTriggerEnter. So when we do have an object with a trigger like the pole, then it will go and run this onTriggerEnter, and it will set the pole as the other object here, so the colliding object. And that is also why we do have the isTrigger, because not everything inside the game, every time the player hits something, it should not go and trigger this and look at all this code. It will only be when we have an object that is a trigger. So when we do hit it, we go and say if the other object that we hit, and which is a trigger, have a game object that have a tag called target object, then we will go and take our text mesh and go and take the text on the text mesh and make it to level 2 instead. So this is actually all the code that we need. We can go and save this file now and go back to Unity, and then we do need to go and take the trigger script here and go and drag it to the player that we have. So now when we click on the player and scroll down at the bottom of our inspector here, you can see we have the trigger script. The only thing we need now is to take the text that we have to change to level 2. And in this case, it is this TextMeshPro text that we have to go and drag and put it over here. So now let's go and see if this is working. So I'll just run up and jump up on this and this. And when we hit it, you can see we have now level 2. So that was basically how you go and change some text when you collide with a thing, or when you go and trigger another object. Thanks for watching, and go and have a nice day.